you don't need motivation. You need to stop breaking the system that eventually can change your life. Many people, they fail not because the system is bad or the plan is not working, but because they are not able to stick with the plan for long enough. And in this video, in today's session, we're going to break down what is the reason we can't stick to our plans, what stops us, and how you can overcome this, so that next time when you are planning, you don't have to start over and over each week or next month or with every New Year's resolution. In this series of videos, we are talking about the impactful life planning. So this is Wednesday's videos. They are saved in one playlist, which is called Impactful Life Planning or Impactful Life. I don't remember exactly. You can check it. I'm sure you will find it. So what we are doing here, we are planning our life. So we discussed already how to plan your life, all your life. Yeah, not planning 5 years, not planning 1 year, but starting with the goal maybe that will exceed your lifetime, because only then it makes sense, to stick to the discipline, to plans, if your goal is worth it. Otherwise, if you plan something for a half year or 1 year, there is a possibility that you are not going to stick to it because it's not worth it. So if you have done this job, if you have planned your life, now, last time we have discussed with you how to build your routines. So if you have developed your routines, this is your system, and we need to stick to these routines, to this system. So what stops us? Why we are not staying with this system for long enough? So in this stream, we are going to talk first about why we cannot stick to the system for long enough. So submitting yourself to the system, it means that you you become a slave of the system, but then this system becomes your slave. So you become the slave to the system, and then system works for you. System gives you the result. That's much easier than just trying and failing, trying and failing. Usually when people share systems with you, or when you create a system, you know that continuous application of this system will give you result. You have done your research, you have checked how it works for other people, but then at some point you start giving up. So what happens in your mind? Why do you start giving up? Let us check it. So there are the four. I started with three, but there are four key resistance reasons that are happening in your life. Usually, you can maybe categories, not reasons. Four categories. Altogether, there are 9 reasons, and we will break them down, and we will count maybe more. So, what stops you from sticking to the system, sticking to your routine, sticking to your goals, whatever it is? Even if you want to lose weight, even if you want to build up muscles, even if you want to learn language, whatever you want to do and what's necessary for your life goal, what happens when you are not able to stick? So first of all, it's impatience with the process. You're not patient enough with the process. For example, you say, I want results now. I want results faster. So you are jumping from like one system to another because now this system promises you more results. Another is a ego resistance. I know better. Let me tweak the system so that it works better. I'm smarter than other people who follow the system. Let me tweak it. And then emotional behavioral weakness is when you can't stay you cannot stay consistent for emotional reasons. You start doubting, you stop believing that it works, and things like this. And the number 4 that we will add is fear resistance. So it's fear-based resistance. So let us break down these 4 types of resistance and see what is your problem. See for yourself what's your resistance to stay with the goal until you achieve it. Impatience with the process. So when you expect instant results, what happens is that you are going to be disappointed very fast. Most systems, they don't work like this. They don't give instant results. So it means that usually you want proof of the system working before you give it time. So let me write instant results. When you wait for instant results, you usually are not going to get them. We have a house with my husband on one island, and the view from the window of the house, it goes to the sea, and there was no trees, nothing was hindering this view. And then we came next year, and suddenly there was a huge tree, like 3 meters tree, and I was like in Greece for maybe 1 year. I didn't know what kind of trees are there, what plants are there. Sorry about that, give me a second. I'm back. Sorry about this. We're human, you know, so so instant results, they usually don't happen. And when I have seen this plant grow over a year, 3 meters, I said, wow, that's like how it's possible. And it's some kind of cactus. It's a cactus that sprouts a huge 3-meter flower in few months. And the thing with this flower is that it dies off very fast. So it's going to bloom, and next year it is going to be already dry, and we'll wait for the wind to break it. Fast result usually ends with not very long lasting result. That's just an illustration, but you can look into your life and remember about all fast results and your ability to maintain those results, to keep those results. Why we usually cannot keep the results that came very fast is because we didn't transform for these results. So to maintain the results that we have achieved, we need to go through the process of transformation, and usually it takes time. So when we don't give time to the process, we usually get some results that are going to disappear very fast because we didn't transform. So expecting instant results is your desire to have a proof that is going to work before it's time. And also sometimes you mistake the slowness of results as your failure. So you think like, okay, because I don't have results by now, you don't think that, okay, I didn't build skills that I needed until now. That's why I'm not able to have results. I didn't invest enough time, or I need more time. I need more efforts. I need to apply more efforts to have this result. So I need to transform more, transform better. So we don't think like this. We think that I am bad. I didn't get these results because I am not good. I'm not this and that. So it's my mistake. maybe I've chosen the wrong program, maybe I have created bad system and things like that. But that's not true. That's not the reason. That's just what is stopping you to continue. This is, you have to be aware of it so that you can you can deal with it. Next one is not giving system enough time, which is connected. Everything in this impatience with the process is connected. So next reason or resistance is not giving system enough time. Not giving enough time. So if you don't give enough time to the system, usually you need to understand how system works. Usually all systems, they give you result because of the compounded effort. So you keep doing, you keep showing up, and you don't see result, although it is happening, but you don't see because you are inside the process. It's like a small kid who do not see how he grows. He only can understand that he has grown up just because you measure his height at the door, you know, and you are at the door entry, and you are noting how did he grow. So he can see that last year he was this tall, and then he sees that next year he is that tall. But in his mind, in the mind of the child, he doesn't think he has grown enough, because you know children want to grow faster. But we are not children. We need to understand that we are changing, we are transforming. Although we do not see it, it doesn't mean we are not changing. It doesn't mean we don't have results. We have compounding. We build the result steadily. It compounds. So when you overcome the pile of efforts, yeah, you will have something that you will see is going to be visible to you. And it requires time. So don't quit too early. And another thing is that you are not giving time because you underestimate how much time does it take to master something. So for you to transform and become a master of something, let's take YouTube, for example. Many people, we have made one video where we spoke about 1% of people sticking around with YouTube and continuing like out of 60 million people, active creators who create more than 3 months consistently. So people are quitting. They cannot even consistently create for 3 months. There is only 1% of people who is able to stick around. Can you imagine this? What happens? It's just 3 months. Okay, sometimes you have to stick around more than 3 months. Sometimes it depends on how many videos do you do, what is the quality, what is your background, have you been doing before this, have you built skills before this. So if you are starting with from total zero, you might expect that it will take more time than you thought, than other people are saying. It's all about you, about your transformation, how you change. So that's the time you need. So quitting too early and not understanding how much time the mastery takes, this is what hinders your ability to stick to the goals. And what people are doing, they are quitting because they don't have enough motivation after not seeing the result or thinking that they don't see result. So this not enough motivation is what system has to beat. System beats the absence of motivation. I told you that you don't need more motivation. Stop breaking the system that is supposed to help you. Make yourself a slave of the system so that system will become your slave in return. So we have discussed 2 things out of 9 resistances that hinders you from continuing sticking with your goals. Let's go for the third one. Third one is what I have noticed, is misinterpreting result. Misinterpreting. Misinterpreting. Misinterpreting results. So when we do not understand what exactly is required, so not required, what exactly the system will bring you, when we don't understand. So we are living in some kind of, some kind of wishful thinking, some kind of illusion, thinking that I will start posting every day on YouTube and I will immediately have people following me because I'm consistent in it, without understanding that a result that you need is not just posting. The result that you need is your transformation, is your improvement of the skill. With the same skill that you started, you cannot progress and have results. So misinterpreting results is when you are expecting results that are not key to your progress, are not key to your progress. Of course, let's say if we stick to this example of releasing YouTube videos, yes, it's important you release every week, every like twice a week, it's important. But many people, they complain and say that I have been releasing for so long. You have been releasing, but have you been releasing every time a better video than before? Did you improve in every video, or you just released 100 videos? Or have you improved in each video? You see the difference? Did you become a better speaker? Did you get a better control of yourself in front of camera? Did you get a control of your voice? You know what? I see in Facebook one person who has a squeaky voice. So although he has brilliant ideas, the way he speaks is, hello, guys. And the reason people are not sticking around with his videos is that he has to talk with lower voice. He has to talk with voice that is calm and not voice like he just ran a mile. So he's talking like this. So hello guys, yes, today I've done this, or I went there. So this I done this and I was there. Oh my god, it stresses me right now. Having this breath at the top of my lungs, it stressed me. So he has to learn how to calm down. So all this, you have to understand what results the system gives you, so that you understand that if you don't see results in views, let's say, you can take any other area. Let's say bodybuilding, you want to have muscle. You don't see muscle in the mirror, but you don't think that, you know what, I have acquired a habit of eating healthy. This is not a result for you. You want to have visible results. So this mismatch of results, misinterpreting results, it often stops you. And with these 3 points, we have rounded the impatience. So that's about impatience. How do you write impatience? Impatience. Let's move to the next one. And we are talking about the ego resistance here. Ego resistance is when you think you are smarter. So number 1 is tweaking the system. So you are tweaking, you are finding shortcuts. I don't have time, I don't have place to write system. Yeah, it's okay. Tweaking the system. So you are tweaking the system, trying to find exceptions to the rules. For instance, I have the accountability system in my coaching. An accountability system, it includes everyday reporting. The reason I've made everyday reporting, 5 days a week at least reporting, is because the outcome of this system has to be a habit to dedicate, to focus every day on your life goals. Every day. Not on weekends, not once or twice a week, but every day. Because it gives a totally different momentum. It builds momentum. It's easier when you are focusing every day. But very often my students, they tried to tweak this system. They were negotiating with me. What if I report 4 times a week? And what if I do it on weekends, but I do 10 hours on weekends? So what they were trying to do, they were trying to tweak the system. So it means they are going to miss out on the results that were supposed to be achieved, misinterpreting results, you see. So they were misinterpreting the results and trying to achieve what they think is the goal in their own way, without understanding the design of the system. So like this, you break. Sometimes you can try to find how the system can be easier for you, so you are breaking this system flow every time, so that it cannot stick, it cannot become stable. So tweaking, breaking the flow all the time, it's not working. And one of the reasons it's not working is because every time you tweak the system, you have to negotiate with yourself to work with the system, to submit yourself to the system. If the system is clear and you are not changing it, it's easier to decide just one time and just stick with it. So every time you don't have to decide that you will wake up 8 o'clock in the morning and run, for example. Let me give you an example like this. So let's say you want to run a marathon. We have here in Greece marathon, and when people are running from the marathon road to Athens, which is like authentic marathon, is called marathon, this road. So they are running 42 kilometers, and some people can run half marathon. Some people can run 5 kilometers, and some can run 10 kilometers. So when you are getting ready, let's say you want to get ready in 1 month for 5 kilometers. You can get ready for half of the marathon in 1 month, but for 5 or 10, it depends on your physical readiness. So if you want to get ready, you have to have a system. Let's say you will run 3 times a week. So I was getting ready myself to run 5 kilometers, and I stuck to the system of running every day in the evening after work, after taking out my dog. I was going to run. Either I'm tired, either there is rain, it didn't matter, because I just had so many days. I didn't have more days, so I couldn't miss anything. So if I would start tweaking the system and saying, okay, let me not run after my work, let me run before my work, and trying like that, trying before the work, trying on the break of the work, trying this time and that time, and there will be not enough time for this system to settle. Of course, you need to tweak your system if you see that it doesn't work over time. So you need to give it a time and quite a while, and then you tweak if you see that it can be improved, but not tweaking to make it more comfortable for you. That's what I'm trying to say. So don't adapt system to yourself. Adapt to the system. So that's once you created it. That's the resistance of your ego. Number two is needing to understand everything before acting. So like the urge to know. How do I write urge? To know. I don't know if it's even right. You can correct me in comments if you want. Urge. I think it is. Urge to know everything. So you need to know each detail of the system, how it was designed, why it was designed like this. So you go and pay to your coach in the gym, and your coach has, let's say, has a license, and he spent 5 years in the university learning how body works. So now he used his own knowledge, he used his experience, and he has created a system which he tweaked, improved, and he gave to you, and he says you will follow these rules, you will do this many exercises, this many days, you will eat this, you will do that. And then you decide that you need everything to be explained to you. So this person who has spent 5 years just learning and then building experience working with other people, to jump pack this everything in few sessions to explain to you how the system works. So you either make yourself a slave of the system immediately. Of course, you choose if you want the system, but once you have chosen, you submit yourself to this system. Or if you are creating a system for yourself, let's say you can buy system. I, for example, bought a system for myself to make a split, so to sit on a split, you know. And I followed this system religiously for 5 months to achieve result. So how it was built? It was a 21-day system with 21 sets of exercises, 30 minutes every day, including like isometric training, balance training, things like that, a lot of like power training. It included cardio and everything. So I just had to stick to the system for 21 days. I did, and it didn't give me result because I didn't do any exercise for 10 years. So I took one more cycle for 21 days, and it still didn't give me result. So I took one more cycle, and I did it like this more than 5 times. That's where I get 5 months, almost like 2.5 times. I stopped. I stopped for the reason that I switched to another system, but I have achieved result. I haven't made a split. I haven't made the split, but I have achieved a lot of progress with this system because I didn't question this trainer, because this trainer had the track record to show that he have used this to make to sit on a split, and his students did it. And of course I understand that everyone has different physiology and different you need different time, and maybe, you know, I even have a different bone structure, so it means for me it's even more difficult to make a split. But it doesn't mean that the system doesn't work. So I didn't need to know everything. It helped to know, like, why did he invent this training and this training. It helped, but it starts with the trust. First I trusted. I bought the program and I submitted myself to the program to get progress. So let's say result is progress here. And from the beginning I didn't expect that I will have a split in 2 weeks, because I knew I was not physically ready. It didn't matter to me when I will do the split, because the reason I was making this training is because I have a sedentary lifestyle, and the split training is training for your lower body, because it moves less than any other body parts. And thus I have made this goal of having this split. But it was like a little game, you know. It was not the result for which I needed the system. I needed the system just to have a blood flow to my lower body, so that I improve my health. So the urge to know is usually comes from your ego. So you want to be smart and you want to know everything, and you stop your progress because you are trying to know every detail of the system. You don't need it always. You are buying the system because you want to skip the learning part. And then other ego resistant is resisting limitations. Many people don't like limitations. Limitations. So many people, they don't like limitations, and they don't like them so much they don't want to submit themselves to the system. Because what if tomorrow I don't want to run? Like, what if I don't want to wake up? It doesn't matter what do you want. You make one decision. I want this result. Here is the system. I need to do this, and I'm deciding one time. I'm going to submit myself to the system. So it means I'm not deciding anymore. Next morning, next evening, I'm not deciding. I can have exceptions when I don't run. Let's say women on period might not run, or if you have a fever, of course, or if you injured, of course. But if there is no things like that, like, let's say not these 3 points didn't happen, you run, either you want or not. So resisting limitations, not desiring having limitations, desiring freedom to choose. This freedom to choose, it robs you. You don't need freedom to choose. The freedom comes from you choosing one time and then becoming a slave to the system, and system serves you. It becomes your slave. And that's about, we spoke about ego resistance. Ego resistance. Let's move to the next one. Bunch of resistances: emotional or behavioral weakness. What it includes: difficulty following through, difficulty following through. So what stops you from following through is that you just don't know how. You just don't understand how to follow through. You don't know how to schedule. You do not understand or do not accept accountability. You don't know how to keep focus and say no to things, other things. Because if you submit yourself to the system, you say yes to the system. But then it means that you say no to all other things. And I deal with this a lot in my coaching groups. When people, they like the system, they understand it works, but then someone calls them for a night shift and they have to go. Although they said, I'm not going to go for night shift anymore, for example, yeah? Because night shift distracts and doesn't allow you to focus. Just an example. But the one that happens many times. You have to understand what is not allowing you to follow the system. If you want to follow the system, you don't have, let's say, the ego resistance. For example, you don't have this ego resistance, you don't have impatience resistance. So you just not finding it easy to follow through. You have to understand what distracts you, what is not allowing you to follow through, and then fight it. Put a priority to the system, because if you become the slave of the system, system becomes your slave. Another one is depending on motivation more than decision. So expecting motivation. It's when you have to be motivated all the time. So you are waiting for someone to motivate you, something to motivate you. What happens here is that all motivation types will stop working for you. So something motivates you today, but then tomorrow it doesn't. So we need to invent a new thing to motivate you. I tried everything to motivate my students until I understood that they have to have internal motivation that comes from discipline and decision. Not decision every time when you have to do the task, but one decision that I stick to the system. I submit myself to the system. Your motivation comes just one time when you decide you submit yourself to the system. And then you don't need motivation anymore. You have to trust yourself that you have decided for you to follow this. Trust yourself. You decided to follow it, just stick with it, because this is you who decided, not other people decided for you. That's the motivation. So if you expect motivation to feel ready, to feel inspiration, to feel better, maybe you have apathy, you don't want to do, to feel not lazy. Always motivation is temporary. It goes, it vanishes, it disappears. You cannot rely on motivation. Every time something else will motivate you. So you decided to submit yourself to the system, but then you see someone bragging about their results using other system. So you say, okay, let me drop this system, go to another system. So when are you going to stick? Just because the other system now motivates you more doesn't mean that this motivation is not going to disappear as well. Motivation is vanishing. Decisions are permanent. You made a decision, stick with it. So don't motivate yourself every day, just decide one time. And that's why we worked with you on life goals. You decide one time what's your life goal. And then you say no to everything else. And you don't have to decide every time. And then the one that I need to address is laziness. In nowadays, when I work with ChatGPT a lot, I work on productivity books. And what ChatGPT is trying to push, the idea that ChatGPT is trying to push, very often it says, you are not lazy. When I'm writing about something, yeah, and I'm trying ChatGPT to systemize my ideas, so it inserts this phrase, you are not lazy, you are just underprepared, or you just don't have clarity, you just do this, you just that. It always says you are not lazy. But the thing is that laziness, it will strip you of your life mission, life goal, it will destroy your potential, it will destroy all opportunities, it will destroy everything. Laziness is the enemy. So you don't need to soothe yourself with the thought that, oh, I'm not lazy, I just don't have clarity, or I'm not lazy, I just don't have this and that. Yes, of course, finding clarity helps you to be more motivated. It helps you. But at the same time, this motivation, like any other motivation, will go away. So you got clarity and now it motivates you. But tomorrow, this will, you will still have clarity, but the motivation will be gone. So you think, okay, that's not laziness. I'm not procrastinating. I am just, what else? Like, I'm not procrastinating. I'm just like, I need a rest. I'm not procrastinating. I just need to give my time to rest. Okay. One time you rest, second time you rest, third time you rest, and it all compounds into no result. It is important to rest. Put it in your system. When do you rest? So that you don't rest anytime it comes to your mind. Have a system of having a nap instead of having a nap every time you need to work on your book. Because your mind cannot work, cannot focus, it tricks you into needing a nap. Have a nap on specific time every day, and then you know that if you have slept, let's say, you'll have a systematic nap from 3 to 4, for instance, then when you work with your book, on your book, like 5 to 6, you don't need a nap anymore. You don't need a nap anymore. Make it systematic. So there are many things that we excuse ourselves, and we are trying to cover laziness with other names. But the reality is that you are lazy and you just don't want to submit yourself to the system. You want results for nothing. You want results for your beautiful eyes or for your great potential. You can die with your potential. Do you know how many people have buried their potential on the, what is it called, the burial place? The potential they had, all of them, everyone. Today I've listened to Leila and Alex Hormozi, who were talking about their relationship, and he said a phrase. He said, like, there are people who have no potential. It's not true. There are no people who don't have potential. Everyone is created with huge potential. Everyone is like seed from which there could be a huge tree. Everyone has potential. It's just nonsense saying something like that. Sometimes, when people are good at in business, they think they are good in everything in life. So he's saying things like this about human development just because he knows how to hire people. It's not true. Everyone has potential, but also some people are lazy. They are so lazy that they will never achieve anything because they don't want this discomfort of waking up. They don't want this discomfort on, I am tired, I'm working so much, I am this, I'm that. You are lazy. If you want to overcome laziness, you need to find the root of laziness. There is a root, of course, and you can overcome it, but look for it. Don't find excuses. Excuses is always laziness. So I have covered laziness. I want to say one more thing about laziness, is that lazy people They think that if they have a desire, if they are motivated right now, it was a commitment. But commitment to your goal is not having a desire. Commitment is agreement with yourself to do it, especially when it's going to be hard. There will be hard times, but you will have to stick to your goals. It's not going to be always like that, but there will be situations when it's going to be hard and you will say, okay, let me not continue. So you cannot do it because you are not going to have result. When you are saying like, when let me take a break and I'm not going to do it now, I'm going to come back to it later, you might not be able to do that anymore. So we have covered 9 resistances, but let us go into one more, because initially there were 3 types of resistances. Let me write here also which type was this one. Behavioral or emotional weakness. Weakness. So you are weak emotionally. Straighten yourself. Learn to say no to people. Yeah, here, don't say no to things that will distract you. Say yes even if you don't have motivation to your system. And fight laziness. Find what is the reason. That's important. That's emotional weakness. And let's see and recap these 3, but I will add you number 4. So it's we said set of resistances related to impatience, to ego, to emotional weakness. And now let's talk about the fear. Let's talk about the fear, right? Fear of failure, fear of success. Does it exist? Oh, yes. I had it, I'll share with you. And fear of losing identity. So when you submit yourself to the system, you can be afraid that it's not going to work for you, or generally the system is not going to work. So you are afraid, especially when it doesn't give you result for some time. So this fear, it strips you of the result. Because you say, what if I give all and then at the end I will remain with nothing? So you don't give all. Let me give just a little. Just a bare minimum. Let me do a bare minimum. What's required for this system? And then, of course, the bare minimum didn't work for you. Because for other people with more and better skills, it worked with bare minimum because they already got ready for this system. And you are starting from 0, you gave bare minimum and it didn't work. Or imagine you created a system, for example, to get ready for the marathon, to run a half or the whole, let's say half marathon, 22 kilometers, to run next year. So you need to prepare, you need to start running with 2 kilometers, then 5 kilometers next month, maybe 10 kilometers next month, and like not months, in 6 months. And you keep running, you have to keep running. And imagine that for you to run half of the marathon, sorry, 1.2 of marathon, yeah, you cannot say, I don't have a desire today, let me run half of my goal, and tomorrow another half of my goal. Because why? Because I'm thinking that I will not be able to get ready for the marathon anyway, so why do I align with every day's goal? Let me do less. I ran, I don't feel like I'm a loser. I did my due diligence, you say. So as a result, you, by the end of your training, you are not ready for marathon because you didn't put your all in. So next one is fear of success. Fear of success is huge. For instance, I worked with my psychologist because of the fear of success. I was working on fear of having a lot of money, because I thought, what will happen if I will have those money and I will lose my friends, or I will lose my husband, because it means that I will work a lot and I will not be with my family. So things like that, fear of success, because if you will stick to the system, you will have success. So you have to work with this fear. I had like 10 sessions with my therapist, which started with the fear of success. I overcame it. You have to work on it. You might feel that you are not ready for the next level, but the problem is that this level where you are in, it doesn't work for you anymore. So you just have to have courage to go to the next level. Have the courage to go to the next level. Work on it. And then losing identity. What does it mean? It means that if you submit yourself to the system, you will transform into a different person. It's like you are submitting yourself to become more goal-oriented, and then you think, oh, then I'm not going to be able to go out for coffee with my friends anytime because I will become goal-oriented. So these like tiny things, they instilling in you fear of losing who you are. Or like, if I will become rich, I will become maybe like proud, or how other like you have an imagination of how those people who achieved those results, who they become. Like, you might think that they are spoiled by money, for instance, and you are afraid that you are not going to be generous as you are when you will have money. You will lose friends and things like that, losing your identity. Or sometimes you might think, I don't even know who I will become. If I will become a 1 million subscriber YouTuber, I will be traveling the world, I will be invited here and there. Who I will be? Am I going to be the Kate I know? Or are my friends going to recognize me? Maybe you think this. So you need to understand that your identity, it evolves always, anyway. So it's better you are not remaining on the level where you are, because maybe then you will transform in like another direction. But you will be changing, because people are constantly changing. So how about envisioning for yourself who you will become with achieving this goal, so that it's not scaring you? Because staying who you are, it's more secure, of course. It's more, well, I know what to expect of myself, and if I become rich, maybe I will like be rude with my friends, for instance, or I will not be polite with waiters in the restaurants, for example. Like, you think like this about yourself. What about envisioning who do you want to be and working towards it, so that you don't become what you don't want? So it will be It will make it more familiar to you. So you will, because you will envision yourself in the future, this is not going to be scary anymore. And we have addressed here the resistances related to fear. Fear-based resistance. This is powerful, I think. Can you imagine that success can instill fear? You see, you don't need a new system. Usually your system is going to work. What you need to work on is on those now 12 nuances, 12 resistances that might stop you from submitting yourself to the system. But when you submit yourself to the system, you become a slave of the system becomes your slave. So I have the following questions for you. Think of when in life you had a good system, you enrolled in a program, you created the system for yourself, you bought maybe the system like I did with the split training, but you didn't actually follow through. Think of this. What stopped you? Why you didn't submit yourself to this system? Think of which resistance category out of those fear-based, ego-based, emotional weakness, impatience, which category is most like the most usual for you? Try to understand impatience, ego, emotion, fear. And think, envision for yourself, visualize what will change if you will overcome those resistances. Visualize. What will change if you overcome your resistances? And in comments, if you want to share with me your takeaway, I would love you to write which resistance do you think is the most common to you. So in the beginning, we said that you shape the system, you create the system, and then the system creates you. You enslave yourself to the system, and then system becomes your slave. And to round up now, because I'm rounding up, I have even exceeded the time, 58 minutes instead of the 50. You can still write takeaways if you have. Write where you are watching from. Subscribe, because if you didn't subscribe, you cannot comment. You cannot comment. I can read your comments over here. I'll give it a time. And tomorrow we have a program that is dedicated to breaking down the success of other YouTubers, giants, people who are growing rapidly in the last 3 months, so that we can see how they are growing, what works for them, so that you can learn from them. Last Thursday we have reviewed Ivy. What's his name? Surname is Ivy. So we have reviewed him. I've learned myself a lot from him, very inspiring. Now tomorrow I'm still looking for who we are going to review, but if you liked our reviews of challenge that we did for rising creators who have under 1,000 subscribers, which was called the hot seat, creator hot seat. So this one is called Rising with Giants, or stand on the shoulders of giants, which means that they have achieved, but you stand on their shoulders so that you achieve even more by learning from them. So that's for for tomorrow. And if you want to review all the series of these streams about the strategic life building, you can go to my playlist and review all of them. I start there with how the values will define our life goals, then finding mission, building life goals, building actually the plan, routines, and today I explained to you how to stick to routines. And maybe next week we're going to talk and touch the topic of creating systems. So not just routines, but systems, what system is. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Share this if you liked and you have found inspiration.